Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Health for All, and in this video we will discuss about the healthcare quality improvement process, that is how we can improve the quality of care in a healthcare settings or a hospital, right? So in this video we will discuss about what is quality in healthcare, next fundamentals of quality terminologies, that is what is quality assurance, what is quality control, what is total quality management, that is TQM, those terminologies. Then we will know how to achieve quality assurance in a hospital setting. Quality is a big term, right? In the context of accreditation, we have NABH, JCI, NQAS, a lot of accreditation facilities are available, but we have to know how to enhance the quality in a hospital settings. Next, we will learn what is infection control, the most important thing for the quality assurance, and what is patient safety. So stay tuned with us to know more and subscribe the channel if you haven't already to get this kind of latest information. So now when you talk about the quality in healthcare, ISO 9000 and 2000 defines quality as a degree to which set of inherent characteristics fulfill requirements and satisfying customer requirements on a continuous basis. We have to emphasize the word satisfying customer requirements on a continuous basis. So the basic thing of quality in healthcare means you have to satisfy your customer or your patients on a continuous basis by improving your healthcare infrastructure, by preventing infection and enhancing the patient safety, right? Those are the three components of quality in healthcare. Now, quality in healthcare. Quality is described on the basis of domain under consideration, but most important is patient-centric, what I have already discussed. Examples are quality healthcare would mean correct diagnosis, good communication, informed consent, providing respect towards the patient rights, and finally the patient safety. Quality hygiene, infection prevention, those all are the components of healthcare settings when we are talking about enhancing the quality in healthcare. While discussing the quality terminologies, three things usually comes to our mind. Number one, quality assurance. Number two, quality control. And number three is total quality management. And we have to understand what is the difference between the quality assurance and quality control. First, quality assurance is a hand-holding approach to ensure the quality standards. That means you have some predefined standards and it's a journey to achieve those standards. Those are called quality assurance. It's planned and systemic quality activity, providing a good environment to enhance the quality of the hospital. Number two is quality control. Quality control is a random quality check measures to determine that they match the standards. That means where quality assurance is a hand-holding approach to achieve the quality standards, quality control is a checking method to assess whether what you have done in the quality assurance part are as per the standard or not. That is quality control. It addresses the assessment conducting during quality assurance for corrective actions. It's a random check of your product or your service to judge whether your product or service is as per the quality standards or not. Number three is total quality management or TQM. TQM is the integration of all functions and process within an organization in order to achieve continuous improvement of the quality of goods and services. Again, the goal is customer satisfaction. That is total quality management means when your organization or your facility is applying both quality assurance and quality control to improve your quality of service or product, and the goal is to enhance the customer satisfaction. That is called total quality management or TQM. So now when we are planning to achieve the quality assurance in hospitals, we have to improve the quality process approach in the healthcare settings. That is enhancing the input, improving the process, and finally if both are done, we can get the enhanced quality or the output, right? Input means all the man, machine, materials and monies, anything are inputs. Process is what are the process we are following in our healthcare setups. We have to enhance the patient safety, we have to provide a proper infection control methods to prevent the infections, we have to provide accurate laboratory procedures, we have to be very timely towards providing care towards the patient safety, or providing a good behavior for our patients. Those all are improving the process. And finally, if we done both of this, output part, can be improved. Another thing is, while achieving quality, you have to follow the PDCA model or the Plan, Do, Check, Act model. Planning is the first thing when we are targeting to achieve the quality. We have to follow certain guidelines, we have to prepare some plans, those comes under the planning. After planning, we have to implement those planned stuff in a small scale, that is do, and we have to check whether those planned materials have been worked or not, that is check, and after that we have to implement those methods in a broad scale or for the whole hospital or the other healthcare settings, that is act, that is PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act. First thing I want to say that while implementing PDCA model to enhance the quality of care, the involvement of top management is extremely essential. That is, involvement of the leadership. Until unless your leader of the hospital are not involved in this PDCA model, you won't be achieve the desired quality, whether it might be while achieving the NABH or the ISO or the NQS. So on a nutshell, while improving the quality of healthcare, you have to get support from your top management. You have to do a continuous gap findings, corrective and preventive actions, that is CAPA, followed by continuous quality improvement, control of records, evaluations and audits, performing multiple audits, that might be prescription audit, medical audit, death audit, and finally the management reviews. You have to be more conscious towards the management reviews. Now you have improved your inputs, you have enhanced your process towards more patient-centric. Now there are certain quality improvement tools that are essential to assess whether your outcome are as per the standards or not. Those are lean management, applying the lean theory in healthcare, value stream mapping, implementation of Kaizen, implementing 7 quality control tools or quality assurance tools, implementing 5S or workplace management, visual management, and Six Sigma. If you don't know how to or what is lean in healthcare, what is 5S, we have a different video for that. I will give it in description and also in I button. You can check it out to know about what is lean, what is PDCA, how to implement lean, what are the MUDAs, what is 5S on that video. Now, what is infection control? Infection control is a set of methods that are used to prevent and spread the infection in the hospitals. Infections which are acquired in hospitals and other healthcare facilities where the patient must have been admitted for reason other than the infection. Time frame includes up to 48 hours after hospital admission, up to 3 days after discharge, or up to 30 days after any operation or OT. This infection was not present or incubating at the time of admission. Healthcare associated infections or HCAIs is the new term used for those infections. So what causes HCAI? 3 things that causes hospital acquired infection in any healthcare settings. Number 1, microorganisms in the hospital. Number 2, immunosuppressed host. And number 3, chain of transmission. Any pathogens, superbugs, all are microorganisms in the hospitals. Immunosuppressed host means the patients which are already being infected or already in a morbid condition due to any other disease, those are immunosuppressed host. And chain of transmission means how the pathogen spreads. We know that any infections mainly spread via 3 methods. Number 1, contact borne. Number 2, droplet. And number 3, airborne. Contact borne means where pathogens are contaminated or spread via direct or indirect contact. All the pathogenic organisms such as Staphylococcus aureus, MRSA, Clostridium difficile, vancomycin resistant Enterobacter or VRE, all are contact borne infections. And how we can intervene this or how we can prevent it? We can by frequent hand washing or use of hand rub. Number 2, droplets. Microorganisms which are larger than 5 microns are usually spread via droplet nuclei. Examples are diphtheria, influenza type B, meningitis. All those pathogens are spread via droplet infection. And how we can intervene this or prevent this? By using PPE, by following barrier nursing and hand washing. Number 3 is droplets. Any microorganisms which nuclei is less than 5 micron in diameter are usually spread via air. We can call them airborne pathogens. Examples are tuberculosis, measles, pneumonia, etc. And how we can prevent it? Use of standard precautions like PPE, restricted movement of visitors, hand washing, and proper decontamination, disinfection, and sterilization. We have a different videos on each and every topic. You can check it out in the other videos of this channel. Now, who are the patients at risk for HAI? Patient who age more than 70 years, patient who have a shock or major trauma or acute acute renal failure, other chronic conditions, patients who are in mechanical ventilation, or patients who are in catheters, again patients who are immunocompromised, that is patients who are taking steroids or chemotherapy for a long period of time, and prolonged stay of ICU, that is patients who are staying ICU for more than 3 days are very much prone towards taking other healthcare associated infections. So on those patients we have to take very extra precautions to prevent hospital acquired infections or HAI. Now how to control HAI? There are certain measures we can use to prevent hospital acquired infections or HAI. Number 1, regular and frequent hand washing. Number 2, use of alcohol based hand rub. Number 3, decontamination, disinfection and sterilization of equipments and instruments. Number 4, proper cleaning of hospitals. Number 5, a regular change of bed linen. Number 6, proper using of gloves and PPE. Number 7, spill management. Number 8, proper segregation of biomedical waste, that is biomedical waste management and segregation. Number 9, immunization of all staffs and food handlers. And number 10, the most important, safe use of antibiotics. So what are the common sites of HAI or hospital acquired infection? Those are urinary tract infections, that is UTI, lower respiratory tract infections, surgical site infections, vascular catheter infections, skin and soft tissue infections, bacteremia, septicemia, meningitis, other infections like upper respiratory tract infections, infection of the eye, ENT, etc. Next, we will discuss about what is patient safety. The simplest definition of patient safety is the prevention of errors and adverse effect to patients associated with healthcare. Common errors that can be seen in healthcare setups are adverse healthcare event, that is event arising during clinical care and causing physical or psychological injury to a patient. Number 2, healthcare near miss, that is situation in which an event arising due to clinical care fails or develop further compensation to prevent injury. Next, adverse drug reaction, that is any response to a drug which is unintended and occurs at a dose used for prophylaxis, diagnosis or therapy. Medication error or medicinal error, any preventable event that may cause to lead any patient harm. And some sentinel errors like wrong surgery on a wrong body part, surgery on wrong patient receiving wrong medications, etc. Those are the all errors, and while we are dealing with the patient safety, we have to reduce those errors on a countable manner. While dealing with the patient safety approach, we have to remember no patient harm, therefore no blame, no guilt or no fear of litigation. So while we are talking about the patient safety, we have to emphasize certain norms. Number 1, improve the accuracy of patient identification. Number 2, improve the effectiveness of communication among caregivers. Number 3, improve the safety of using medications. Number 4, reduce the risk of healthcare associated infections. Number 5, accurately and completely reduce the risk of patient harm resulting from falls, and special emphasis on dangerous situations, infection control, look-alike and sound-alike medications, and drug stockouts or equipment stockouts. So this is a very concise video regarding how to achieve quality in healthcare. In future we will come up with different other topics to enhance the quality of the hospitals. And if you think this video is helpful, please like the video, subscribe the channel and share this information. Take care.